I have procrastinated from making this video for like the past 2 days. And that's super ironic considering the fact that the point of this video is trusting yourself, trusting your inner voice, trust what your heart resonates with, trust what you feel led to do, what you feel led to say. And I have not been following suit, so it's kind of funny how things play out in that way. I think I'm someone who struggles with self-doubt a lot. I struggle with it all the time. I struggle with it with simple things. Simple things like making sure I forgot to, or making sure I remember to lock the door on my way out, or making sure I remember to call a friend, or things that I don't even typically forget. Things that I don't things that I usually do well. I struggle with a lot of self-doubt that maybe this will be the time that I fuck up. Maybe this will be the time that I don't do it right. Maybe this will be the time that I make a mistake. In that, I realize I have a big fear of failure. I fear things not being good a lot. I fear things not being good. I fear making things that aren't good. I fear making things that aren't good. I fear being somebody who is not good. I fear so much when it comes to inadequacy, or not living up to my full potential, not living up to the full reign of who I am as a person. I think because I've struggled so much with self-doubt, and I think because I've struggled so much with not trusting myself, and not knowing, or I wouldn't say not knowing, I would say I think because I've struggled with fear so much in making the wrong move, I developed habits that led me to believe at the time that if I followed other people's guidance and I followed other people's ideas and other people's inspirations and dreams and instructions, I would be good. I wouldn't make mistakes. I would just follow what somebody else had in place for me. I would follow what they wanted for me. I would follow what they said was right and just and good, and I would take that. Okay, cool. They told me what I have to do, and they're trustworthy. I trust them. I believe them. So I'm gonna take their advice, and that will lead me to where I want to be. No, that's not how that works. I soon found out. Now, what I will say is that guidance is important. You need people to instruct you on decisions that you've never had to make before. You need people to support you, and you need people to guide you, quite literally guide you in the path that you want to be. But guidance is about suggestion. Guidance is about suggestion. It's not about following what someone else's plan is exactly. Does that make sense? Someone guiding you looks like, I think 1, 2, 3 will work, right? Let's say you ask someone for advice and they say, okay, I think 1, 2, 3 will work. That's guidance. Not trusting yourself and trusting someone else's words and following someone else's words to the T, that looks like you need to do 1, 2, 3. Do 1, 2, 3, or else you'll fuck up. You know what I'm saying? That's following orders. That's not guidance. And I think for me, because I do struggle with fears a lot. I struggle with self-doubt a lot. I struggle with like the lack of internal peace and the lack of feeling stable within myself so much, especially when I was younger. I often feel like I have to ask other people for advice on what exactly I need to do because I don't have enough faith and trust in myself to do what I want to do myself. I haven't often maneuvered in a way that like shows that I have faith in myself. I find myself often asking other people questions that I already know the answers to. Asking people, what do you think I should do about 1, 2, 3, when they're not even qualified to give me advice because they're not even in this area, they're not in this industry, they're not doing what I'm doing. Searching for answers on YouTube, watching motivational, inspirational videos, not because I really want to be motivated or inspired, because I want someone to tell me what to do. You know? I have lived my life for a very long time just not trusting myself, just being so scared to trust myself, being so scared to have an idea and to execute it, being so fearful that if I made a decision like that, if I got out of my comfort zone like that, if I took a chance on myself, I would regret it, I would fuck up, I would fail, I would fall, and it would be all my fault. You know, I'd be the only one to blame, and it'd be that things would just go downhill. And this mindset has found its way into my life in very small ways. But those small ways have created the bigger picture. Like, for example, one small thing where it has come into fruition before is when I don't trust myself, I have found it harder to even decide what to do with myself for the day. Sometimes I wake up and I literally don't know what to do with myself because I don't have something external telling me what to do. Work is external. It tells me what to do. I need to clock in at 9, I leave at 7, or whatever the case may be, and that's what I do for the day. Okay, school tells me what to do. Okay, I need to take this test, I need to study, I need to take this quiz, I need to go to class. Easy. But with me having to trust myself, with me having to trust my own inner thoughts and my own inner being and my own psyche, when I have a day that is free, I have to choose how I spend my day. And that is something that's so simple, and it's something that's so small, but when you truly, really don't trust yourself or have not practiced trusting yourself, it becomes monumental. That in the smallest ways, you don't know what to do with yourself because you don't trust that you can make a decision on your own. And then, of course, those smaller things delve into bigger things. One thing that I experienced that was a huge sign to me that I had a problem with trusting myself was when I was at school. I'm still in school, but this is a previous point in time. When I was at school and I was studying for a chemistry exam, and I was a nursing major, and it was in me studying for that exam that I realized I did not want to do nursing. I did not want to be a nurse. I had no desire to be a nurse. I did nothing in my body resonated with nursing, and never had, but I had studied nursing for about 2 years at this point out of the fear of trusting what I wanted to do, which was actually to do film, to produce art, to produce media, to produce entertainment. That's what I wanted to do. That's what resonated with my heart. That's what resonated with me. But I didn't trust that that was possible. I didn't trust that my ideas made sense. I didn't trust that I could do what I really wanted to do. So I continued to do nursing until I was studying for that test, and I realized I can't see the rest of my life going like this. I can't see myself going to clinicals. I can't see myself working in a hospital in any capacity. That's not the life that I want for myself. And it was only when the situation was so dire that I realized that I had to make a change. So I changed my major. That's one of the bigger ways, you know, one of the bigger decisions and one of the bigger, one of the bigger factors that have made me realize like the power of trusting yourself, the power of trusting what resonates within your own heart, the power of trusting what you feel inside yourself. The thing too about trusting other people's voices more than you trust your own voice is that habits are only as strong as much as we do them, right? So if you continue to like go to bed on time, it's gonna be harder to stay up because your body is used to you going to bed on time. If you eat at the same time, eat lunch at the same time every day, like 2 o'clock, you're gonna start to get hungry at that time. You're gonna start to naturally crave the habits that you do because they are repetitive. That's how we understand our behaviors. That's how we interact with our own behaviors. We recognize our patterns and we fall into them and we continue them. When it comes to trusting yourself, when it comes to and the actions, or when it comes to not trusting yourself, and when it comes to the actions that you take when you don't trust yourself, you fall into patterns that repeat those same ideas. So, for example, you don't listen to yourself when you have an idea. You always take what everyone else says. And when you do that long enough, you never speak on your ideas. You never speak on what's going on in your mind. You never speak on what you have within you because you've repeated this pattern. You've repeated this behavior because you identify as someone who does not trust themselves. You have now identified yourself as somebody who doesn't trust what you have to say. So you don't say anything. You don't put any input in. You don't put your piece in. And by that, you also accept other people's ideas as well. You accept other people's ideologies. You accept other people's you accept what other people have to say. You accept what other people have to say, and you distrust what you have to say. It's a cycle that's constantly repeating. It's something that I know in my life I'm still trying to figure out. It's something that I'm still trying to get a hold of, but it is something that I acknowledge. And I'm doing my damn best to break out of it. I think when it comes to breaking out of bad habits, there's I think when it comes to breaking out of bad habits, there's a million ways to go about it. But for this one in particular, what has been helping me is just trying to do one thing each day that pushes me out of that zone. For example, my one thing today is making this video. Like I said, I have procrastinated on this video for like the past 2 days. I was supposed to film this like Tuesday. It's like, well, actually it's Wednesday. I'm capping. I was supposed to film this like on Sunday. It is Wednesday. Yeah. I was struggling with a lot of self-doubt, a lot of distrust. Would it be good? What am I gonna say? How am I gonna say it? Da, 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 da. Wait, you won't know until you try. And I had to really think about that. Like, I won't know the answers to any of these questions until I just do the thing. I can think through scenarios all I want. I can map them out of my brain. I can plan and write and da 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 all I want. But execution is the only way you will figure out whether something is for you or whether it's not for you, if you like it, if you don't like it, if it works, if it doesn't work. You have to try. You have to put yourself out there. You have to take action. And that's hard. That's scary as shit. That's hard and it's scary as fuck. And it's not easy, but it's so necessary. But I do think the same way that you can repeat patterns and, bad patterns that you fall into, you can have good patterns that you fall into. You can, once you take one step, you take another step, and you take another, and you take another, and then before you know it, you have this beautiful habit that you developed. It's not easy, it's not simple. It's not something that just comes out the blue. You have to work and you have to try. But I do think that if you keep your head on straight, if you stay close to that inner voice, I think it can work out. I feel like it's better to have tried and to it have not been that great, or for you to put yourself out there and for it to not go the way you expected it to, for you to hide away and just never know if you could have made it or not, never know if this would have worked or not, never know if your idea would have been received or not. So yeah, that is my video on trusting yourself, a lack of trusting yourself rather. I'm Zan, and you can catch me at Zan the Poet on all social media platforms. Trust yourself. Give yourself a chance.